Hi, we are Paul and Jenna Boyd, and we just wanted to share a little bit with you about our background and how we came to join Wycliffe Bible Translators. So for my part, I grew up in the church, just surrounded by missions everywhere, and just never considered that I was to be a part of that for some reason. Until one Sunday, our church was holding an interest meeting for anyone that was thinking about going on a mission trip to Guatemala that summer. And I had never been before, didn't think anything of it, but I blinked, and the next thing I know, I was there in the meeting halfway through filling out the application form without any memory of making that decision. So I felt that was the Lord impressing on me that I was supposed to go that year. And I did. We spent lots of time building homes and relationships with people down there. But one of the days, about halfway through the week, we were out at a site that was far away from everything else going on. There was no people around, no kids, nothing to do but just the manual labor. And except about halfway through that day, there was a man walking by who kind of glanced at us as he was walking down the road, wondering what all these Americans were doing in his neighborhood, probably. So I jogged on over to him and, using probably every Spanish word I knew, asked him what his name was and if he lived around there and if he knew Jesus. And the last question he answered no. And I froze because I was A, out of Spanish words, and B, I didn't know where to take the conversation from there anyway. So thankfully we had a translator on site, and our evangelical pastor was there for the day. So they came over and kind of took the conversation from there, ended up leading the man to Christ. But the Lord just really impressed upon me in that episode that it was something that He was calling me to, that I was meant to do full time. But I didn't feel like an evangelist. Obviously, I knew I didn't have the skills that I thought missionaries have. Pilots, doctors, things like that. So I didn't know how He could use me and my skills. But I prayed about it for several years, and then met Jenna.
So growing up, I always was just drawn to other cultures and wanted to learn about them, and I loved hearing other languages, and I wanted to travel pretty much everywhere in the world. And so in high school, it was the first time at church that I was really exposed to the idea of doing cross-cultural missions as a career, and pretty immediately was like, that sounds really exciting. I think I'd love to do that. And around that same time, a really good friend of mine had a dream that she felt like the Lord had given her for me. And in the dream, I was getting onto an airplane on where the stairs are on the outside. And so I got to the top of the stairs, and I turned around and I waved at her. And she said it was a big white airplane that said ambassador across the side. And so I thought, wow, that's a neat dream, but then didn't really know what to do with it. Well, the next day I was reading in my devotional, and the whole day was about being called, as how we're all called to be ambassadors for the Lord, and just felt like the Lord was saying, it's not just something that you want to do, but it's something that I'm calling you to do. And so really from that point on, I was kind of praying about, like, what is that supposed to look like? Am I supposed to be a missionary full-time? Am I just supposed to go on mission trips, shorter mission trips, or what's that supposed to look like? And so when Paul and I met, that was something we agreed upon, that we were willing to go in whatever way the Lord called us. And in 2015, we took through a class at church, we learned about Wycliffe and about the need for Bible translation, and pretty immediately felt like that was what the Lord was wanting us to do. Paul had always loved languages. He's really good at learning them, and just loves kind of trying to figure out how they work, and they're like puzzles to him. And so that was something he was passionate about, and we came to find out there's just so much you can do with Bible translation. I mean, I love doing administrative work, and they need that. And so in 2015, we started praying about it. And then in 2018, we felt like the Lord said it was time. So at the end of 2018, beginning of 2018, we officially joined Wycliffe and became members. And then since then, we've been working at building our financial and prayer partnership teams. So that's what we're doing now. Thank you. Bye.